Hey there, Turbo kids and parents. We're back again with another kids talk today, and this one is going to be super important but also super fast, like a Lamborghini. So, buckle up, let's go for a drive. Now, the topic for today is nothing short of the meaning of life. There is no bigger question to ask in this one. So what is the meaning of life? Or in other words, why do we exist? What's it all about? You know, that makes me think, I've heard a great joke once, where a man died, went to heaven, and he found a bunch of people doing the Hokey Pokey and turning around, and he finally realized, that's what it's all about. Now, it's a question that human beings have tried to answer for as long as we've existed. We seem to have this inbuilt desire to know the reason for our existence. Turns out, the existence of the whole universe as well. Now, everyone in the world has an opinion on this question. Most haven't reached a solid or satisfying answer, and a lot just throw their hands up in the air and say, it's impossible to know, so don't worry about it. However, it's a dangerous question to not ask, because while going through life with the opinion that there is no meaning is great for a while, like many people who try to justify a lifestyle of partying and pleasure and saying it's all meaningless, so just have fun. YOLO. However, it makes it very difficult to justify going on living when life gets really tough, which obviously it will at some stage. So the great majority of people just mash some sort of worldview together from their culture and their life experience and come up with what's called an axiom.
The jewel of the B&L fleet, the axiom.
No, not that kind of axiom. This is the kind of axiom that is just simply an established or accepted statement of what's true. For example, look, a very popular axiom today that many people accept around the world is that life began with a big bang where nothing exploded for no reason and over time made everything that we see around us. Therefore, it's all a big cosmic random chance, and the meaning of life is to survive long enough to have babies so that your DNA can keep on existing. Now, that's an option. And there's thousands of other axioms that have existed over the years, giving rise to just about every religion that's ever existed. But where does that leave us? How does this question affect our lives from day to day? Well, I'm going to show you why this is important by using a very cool illustration. So let's talk about my favourite car, the Lamborghini. Now, I believe that you and me are like a Lamborghini because, like the supercars, we are fearfully and wonderfully made by a master craftsman with a specific purpose and some very cool features. So let's talk about the meaning of the Lamborghini's existence. Why does someone want to buy a Lamborghini? Is it because they look awesome? Does it go really fast? Well, that's part of it. But when you think about it, look, they're extremely impractical, hard to use, hard to control, and it's illegal to drive over 110 kilometers an hour on the road anyway. So let me tell you the real meaning of life for a Lamborghini. It's something called Conspicuous Consumption. Now that's two really big words that literally mean spending heaps of money and letting everyone know about it. Now this real meaning might come across as a surprise to you, but what do you think when you see a person driving a Lamborghini? You think, wow, they must be rich, right? Only rich and powerful people can afford to buy a car that's worth $800,000. So we hold up the owner of this car in some kind of glory and status, like it's a lot like worship. I'd like to say the meaning of life for the Lamborghini is to glorify its owner. Now there's also another cool thing about supercars. They're different from normal cars, and that is they actually go up in value over time. Now, keeping a supercar in pristine condition can turn it into a very valuable collector's item down the track. You can sell it for more than you bought it for. You just need to treat it well, maintain it, only drive it on the sealed roads or the racetrack, keep it out of the weather, and if the car's used in the right way, both the car and the owner will have a good time. But what happens if it's not used correctly? It deteriorates and you lose a lot of money by ruining it. The Lamborghini is not going to have a good life if it's used the wrong way, and the owner is not going to end up being very happy. So let's just put a pin in that thought for now, because I'm bringing it back to you and me as human beings. So as Christians, for a lot of reasons, we've come across to the conclusion that the meaning of life is decided by God and communicated to us through the Bible. So let's explore what God set out, and we can match up our illustration of the Lamborghini with a little bit of history. So the first question we need to answer is obviously, according to God and the Bible, what is the meaning of life? Now, as a Reformed church, we're blessed with a little bit of history of some very clever people who got together in England in 1646 to discuss what Christians should actually believe. They called this meeting the Westminster Assembly, and they came up with a list of 107 big questions and their answers according to the Bible. And guess what the number one question was? What is the chief end of man? Now that doesn't sound like the same question, but if you're thinking about how they talked in the 1600s, it's just another way of saying, what is the meaning of life? Now, they put a bunch of Bible verses together, came up with a very good answer to this question, which is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. Now, does this all ring a bell? I was talking just before about the Lamborghinis glorifying their owner and gaining value over time if they're used right. So, the Westminster Assembly had noticed something in the Bible that's so incredibly important that it works itself into a meaning of everything that's ever been made. Like the supercar, we want people to look at us and say, wow, their God must be awesome to have made something so beautiful and powerful. So, that way we go about using the gifts that God's given us to glorify Him, our owner. The other point is if we don't use our gifts in the right way, if we don't maintain our body and mind and spirit really well, we'll become damaged and ineffective for God. And then both Him and us will lose our enjoyment that comes with living a life according to the way God made us to live. So in a way, our meaning of life, to glorify God, simply results in enjoying Him forever. Because we're doing what we're made to do, and there is no greater joy than that. So this little simple illustration ends up with a simple application. Your challenge now, find your gifts, use them to glorify God. And in the meantime, through close relationship with Him, maintain your body, mind and spirit in a way that brings deep and lasting joy that goes on forever.